So we now have, from the chest line, we've cut in and we have opened up, open up, open up in real scale about 0.5. So that would be 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. There's a bit of a bump in the neckline, so we'll want to grade that back in. But just like any neckline, we normally need to remember to drop the neckline about 1 centimetre at the top there, so that we have a bit more space. So now I'm going to put it in pencil so we don't have too much going on. So we're going to just grade that in there. So that's the new neckline. What we need to think about next is the button wrap. So at the moment this is our centre front and there is no wrap crossover for the button. If we look at this block, we have the original centre front plus the wrap. And so that gap, that width, is about 2.5 normally for a single breasted. It could be a bit more depending on style or fit. And then about 5 to 6 centimetres would be something that you would use for a double breasted one. Again, these might vary. So I'm just going to put the button wrap on, and 2.5, this is half scale, so I'm just going to bring it out about 1.5, which is a little bit, just a little bit more, maybe about 3 centimetres in real scale. But so that would become the button wrap, and we would need to think about what shape we want at the bottom of our jacket. So that's a style choice. Rever collar isn't just for a jacket, it could be for a shirt, so it could be a different shape as well. So the next thing to consider is the break line, the roll line, the line that the collar, the Rever, folds on. So this line here. So you can see that starts to make the lower part of the Rever collar. So that line is going to run down here. To get that, we need to start measuring out here. So if we look here, at this point here, we're going to measure up, and in real scale, that would be about 2.5. I'm using 1.5 again, otherwise we'll getting really stuck on the millimetres, and that's not great. So that's the first measurement, and that is definitely coming out square. Taking the back measurement for the neck point to the centre back, 4 centimetres, we are going to draw the roll line down and then up 4 centimetres to make the back of the collar. It's going to zoom out, and we need to decide where our break line, roll line sits. And on that's a style choice. As this is menswear, you don't have to worry so much about the bust line, but you also want it to be flattering as well. So this is the waistline, this is the chest line. So it's roughly, we'll go roughly about halfway in for where the break line will end, just to keep that simple for this setup. However, you can play with that. If you take the break line down to the waistline, that's the widest point of the body often, especially if the person is carrying weight, so you don't want to go down that far. So I'm going to go about halfway between. And for this example, for this demonstration, we'll just leave it at that point. We won't worry about whether or not it needs to come up or down a bit. It is often flattering. It's often flattering to go a couple of centimetres higher than you think it should. It helps the body look a bit longer and slimmer. So this is where our break line, roll line is going to come down to. This is roughly where the buttonhole will sit. So we need to draw these 2 points together, and I'll put that in colour. So you can see I'm just positioning it, so I'm not coming at 90 degrees, and I'm just deciding what the best angle is, and then coming up. So that becomes our roll line, break line. Those two terms are interchangeable. And then we're going to come up from this point another 4 centimetres, and I'll just do that in a different shade. And that 4 centimetres represents the half neck measurement on the back. So that continues at exactly the same angle. That is actually a different colour orange, but they are very similar. So I'm just going to very lightly annotate that as 4 centimetres in the scale measurement. So that's 4 centimetres. And I think on the actual block it would be about 8 to 9 centimetres. So that's the back, centre back line. And then we will move on to developing the collar shape.